I'm the CEO and co-founder of FTX. Brief backstory, I went to MIT, worked on Wall Street for about 3.5 years after that at Jane Street Capital. Really enjoyed it there. Got into crypto in 2017.
In November of 2022, the cryptocurrency world witnessed one of the most spectacular collapses in financial history. FTX, once valued at $32 billion and celebrated as one of the most trusted exchanges in the industry, imploded in less than 2 weeks. At the center of this disaster stood Sam Bankman-Fried, a 30-year-old billionaire who had been hailed as the savior of crypto, only to be exposed as the architect of a massive fraud that cost customers over $8 billion. Sam Bankman-Fried was born in March 1992 in Stanford, California, into a family of academics. Both his parents were professors at Stanford Law School, creating an environment where intellectual achievement was expected. He attended the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, graduating in 2014 with a degree in physics. During his sophomore year, he encountered the philosophy of effective altruism through a talk by Will MacAskill, one of the movement's founders. This philosophy, which encouraged earning large sums of money to donate to worthy causes, would become central to his public image. After graduation, Bankman-Fried joined Jane Street Capital, a quantitative trading firm on Wall Street. There he traded international exchange-traded funds and learned sophisticated arbitrage strategies. True to his effective altruism beliefs, he reportedly donated more than half his salary to charity. However, by 2017, he grew restless with traditional finance and turned his attention to the nascent world of cryptocurrency. In late 2017, Bankman-Fried noticed a remarkable opportunity. Bitcoin was trading roughly 10% higher in Japan and 30% higher in South Korea compared to the United States. Recognizing the arbitrage potential, he co-founded Alameda Research, a quantitative trading firm focused on cryptocurrency. Within months, Alameda was making millions of dollars per day exploiting these price differences across global exchanges. By 2021, Bankman-Fried owned approximately 90% of the company. In April 2019, Bankman-Fried launched FTX, a cryptocurrency derivatives exchange. The platform, which stood for Futures Exchange, was designed to offer sophisticated trading options with better security than existing competitors. One of FTX's innovations was allowing traders to hold all their margin in a single wallet as collateral, rather than managing multiple wallets for different assets. The exchange also created its own token, FTT, which gave holders discounts on trading fees. FTX's growth was explosive. Within a year of launching, the company was valued at over $1 billion. By January 2002, that valuation had skyrocketed to $32 billion. Major institutional investors poured money into the exchange, including Sequoia Capital, SoftBank, and the Ontario Teachers' Pension Plan. Bankman-Fried became a celebrity in the crypto world and beyond, appearing on magazine covers and sharing stages with world leaders. His personal net worth reached an estimated $26 billion, making him the 41st richest American. Bankman-Fried cultivated a carefully constructed public image. He wore shorts and t-shirts to meetings with powerful investors, drove a Toyota Corolla, and lived with 10 roommates in a penthouse in the Bahamas. He positioned himself as a responsible voice in the crypto industry, advocating for regulation while simultaneously donating millions to political campaigns from both parties. He became the second largest individual donor to Democratic campaigns in the 22 midterm elections. Behind this facade, however, a massive fraud was unfolding. Alameda Research and FTX were supposed to be separate entities, but in reality, they were deeply intertwined. Bankman-Fried had created a secret backdoor that gave Alameda essentially unlimited borrowing power on the FTX exchange, exempt from the collateral requirements that applied to other users. Customer funds deposited on FTX were being secretly funneled to Alameda Research to cover risky trades and loans. The scheme began to unravel on November 2, 2022, when CoinDesk published an article revealing that Alameda's balance sheet was heavily concentrated in FTT, FTX's own token. This raised serious questions about the financial health of both companies. The revelation triggered a crisis of confidence. Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of rival exchange Binance, announced he would sell all of Binance's FTT holdings, worth approximately $580 million. The announcement sent FTT's price plummeting by 80% within days. Panic spread among FTX customers, who rushed to withdraw their funds. But FTX didn't have the money. Billions of dollars in customer deposits had been transferred to Alameda, where they had been used for speculative investments, political donations, real estate purchases, and luxury expenses. The hole in FTX's balance sheet was approximately $8 billion. Bankman-Fried scrambled desperately to save his empire. He attempted to secure emergency funding from Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and other investors. On November 8th, Binance initially announced it would acquire FTX, but backed out just 24 hours later, after discovering the extent of the mismanagement and the ongoing investigations by United States authorities. With no other options, FTX halted customer withdrawals, trapping hundreds of thousands of people who couldn't access their money. On November 11, 2022, FTX, Alameda Research, and over 100 affiliated companies filed for bankruptcy. Bankman-Fried resigned as CEO and was replaced by John Ray III, the corporate restructuring specialist who had overseen the liquidation of Enron. In his first assessment, Ray delivered a damning description of FTX's operations, noting a complete failure of corporate controls and absence of trustworthy financial information. He stated he had never seen such disarray in his entire career. The collapse sent shockwaves through the cryptocurrency industry. Bitcoin's price fell to its lowest level in 2 years. Other crypto companies with exposure to FTX, including BlockFi and Genesis Global Trading, suspended operations due to liquidity issues. Institutional investors wrote off billions in losses. Sequoia Capital alone lost $214 million. On December 12, 2022, Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas and subsequently extradited to the United States. He was charged with 7 criminal counts, including wire fraud, securities fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering. The indictment alleged that from 2019 to 2002, he had orchestrated a scheme to defraud FTX customers, investors, and lenders, stealing over $8 billion to fund political contributions, speculative investments, and an extravagant lifestyle. 3 of Bankman-Fried's closest associates and executives quickly turned against him. Caroline Ellison, the CEO of Alameda Research, and his former girlfriend, pleaded guilty to fraud charges in December 2022. Gary Wang, FTX's co-founder and chief technology officer, and Nishad Singh, the director of engineering, also pleaded guilty and agreed to cooperate with federal investigators. The trial began in October 2023 in Manhattan Federal Court. Prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence of the fraud, including testimony from Ellison, Wang, and Singh, who all stated that Bankman-Fried had directed them to misuse customer funds. Internal documents and communications showed that he was aware of the massive hole in FTX's balance sheet as early as September 2022. Software engineer Adam Yedidia testified that Bankman-Fried admitted FTX was not bulletproof back in June 2022. Bankman-Fried took the stand in his own defense, a decision that legal experts widely viewed as a mistake. He claimed he made errors due to being overwhelmed by the company's rapid growth, but denied intentionally stealing customer funds. However, Judge Lewis Kaplan later stated that Bankman-Fried had perjured himself multiple times during his testimony, showing what the judge called an exceptional flexibility with the truth. On November 2, 2023, after approximately 3 hours of deliberation, the jury found Bankman-Fried guilty on all 7 counts. He faced a maximum sentence of 110 years in prison. His defense lawyers pleaded for leniency, arguing for a sentence of just over 5 years and citing his mental health struggles and charitable intentions. They also claimed that FTX customers had not suffered substantial losses, since the bankruptcy proceedings might eventually return their funds. Prosecutors pushed for a sentence of 40 to 50 years, emphasizing the unprecedented scale of the fraud and the devastating impact on victims who had lost life savings. Judge Kaplan was unmoved by the defense arguments. On March 28, 2024, he sentenced Bankman-Fried to 25 years in federal prison and ordered him to forfeit $11 billion. The judge noted that Bankman-Fried had shown no remorse and posed a risk of committing similar crimes in the future. The sentence marked a stunning fall for the former crypto wunderkind. His carefully cultivated image as a brilliant philanthropist had been revealed as an elaborate deception. Even his signature messy hair and casual clothing, his ex-girlfriend testified, were calculated choices designed to enhance FTX's narrative and attract investors. In prison, Bankman-Fried was assigned register number 372-445-10 and began serving his sentence while pursuing appeals of his conviction. The FTX collapse became a defining moment for the cryptocurrency industry, exposing the dangers of unregulated exchanges and conflicts of interest between trading platforms and affiliated firms. The case accelerated calls for stricter oversight of digital assets and custody practices. For many in the crypto community, Bankman-Fried's story served as a cautionary tale about unchecked ambition and the catastrophic consequences of fraud masquerading as innovation. What began as a promise to revolutionize finance ended as one of the largest financial frauds in American history.